I didn't say anything the first time it happened. It was a faint click, just after I turned off the lights, almost like a phone camera shutter. I brushed it off. Maybe it was the house settling, or my mind playing tricks after a long day. But it kept happening. Every night, the same sound. Subtle, but always at the same moment, when I climbed into bed and the room went dark. I'd lie there in the quiet, pretending not to notice while my wife, Olivia, scrolled her phone like nothing was wrong. I started to wonder if I was imagining things, so I mentioned it casually. "Do you ever hear weird clicking sounds at night?" She looked at me, her face a mix of confusion and amusement. "Clicking? Like what?" "I don't know, like a camera or something?" She laughed. Not a deep, hearty laugh, the kind of short, breathy one people use when they think you're being ridiculous. "Miles, are you getting paranoid on me?" Maybe I was. Work had been stressful, and Olivia and I hadn't really connected in weeks. She was always tired, always preoccupied. I chalked it up to my nerves, until the night I got home early. Olivia wasn't expecting me. Her car was in the driveway, but the house was dark, quiet. I walked in, dropped my keys, and turned the corner into our bedroom. And there she was, sitting on the edge of the bed, facing the closet. Her phone was aimed at the bookshelf behind me. She jumped when she saw me, nearly dropped the phone. "You scared me," she said too quickly. "What are you doing?" I asked. She hesitated. "Just looking for something on my phone. I thought I heard something earlier." She got up and practically shoved past me on her way to the kitchen, and that's when I saw it. A tiny black dot just behind the vent cover above our dresser. Something that didn't belong, something that hadn't been there when we moved in. I pulled a chair over, climbed up, and looked closer. It was a camera, a tiny one, embedded into the vent like it belonged there. Wired, powered, recording. My chest tightened as I stared at the tiny lens. I didn't touch it, didn't breathe, just stared at that cold, silent eye staring back at me, hidden in the place where I was supposed to feel safest. It took every ounce of control not to scream. Instead, I climbed down slowly, phone already in my hand. I took pictures of the camera, of its wires, of its position in the room. Then I left the house, said I was going to get takeout. Olivia didn't question it. I drove straight to a motel. I didn't sleep that night. I just kept going over every night, every argument, every odd moment. The jokes she made about me being paranoid. The times I felt like something was off. And then it hit me. She'd always insisted we keep our phones out of the bedroom at night. Said blue light disrupted our sleep. Said it was better for intimacy. But what if it wasn't about health? What if she didn't want me recording anything because she already was? I barely waited for the sun to rise before I called a friend, Grant, a tech consultant I'd worked with once on a data security project. "Hey man," I said, my voice tight. "I think I found a hidden camera in my bedroom." He didn't laugh, didn't say I was overreacting. Instead, he asked, "Do you have the footage?" That question stopped me cold.
No, it's not mine. It's hers, or someone's. I don't even know where it records to. Then you need to find the source, he said. If it's wireless, it's connected to something. If it's wired, there's a receiver nearby. Either way, don't confront her yet. Find out what you're dealing with first. He was right. If Olivia had gone this far, I needed to know why.
The next day, I returned home while Olivia was at work. I kept my steps quiet, my movements calculated. I didn't want her to suspect anything, at least not yet. I followed the wire from the camera through the ceiling, tracing it carefully. It disappeared into the attic. I pulled down the ladder, climbed up with my heart pounding in my throat, and there it was. A small black recorder tucked between old boxes of Christmas decorations and forgotten photo albums. Still blinking, still running. I took photos again, documented everything. Then I unplugged it, but didn't take it. I needed it in place, just in case. Back downstairs, I checked her laptop. I knew her password. She'd never changed it. I opened the media folder, and there they were. Video files, dated, time-stamped, hundreds of them. Each one labeled with mundane names: Laundry Day, Rainy Evening, Night Talk 3. I opened one at random. It was us, lying in bed, talking, and then it was me, crying. One of the nights I told her about my brother's overdose. She'd held my hand, told me she loved me, told me I could trust her, all while secretly recording the most broken moment of my life. I closed the laptop slowly, rage vibrating in every cell of my body. She hadn't just betrayed my privacy, she'd betrayed my vulnerability. That evening I acted normal. I made dinner, I asked about her day. I smiled through every word, every glance, every lie. Olivia didn't notice a thing. She laughed at her phone a lot. Said her coworker sent a funny meme, but I caught a name pop up on the screen. Ethan. I'd never heard of an Ethan. When she went to shower, I picked up her phone. Still locked. Still Face ID only. But this time, I had another plan. While she slept, I used the old phone I found in her drawer. The second phone she didn't know I knew about. It wasn't locked. It was filled with texts. Dozens from Ethan. Flirty, intimate, explicit. Photos of them together. Hotel confirmations. A shared Spotify playlist titled Our Escape. And voice notes. One of them, Olivia laughing, saying, "He's starting to act paranoid. It's actually kind of funny. I might have to move the camera." That was the moment something in me changed. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a game to her, and I was done playing. The next day, I didn't confront her. I just started preparing. I copied the data from the second phone onto a secure drive, backed up every photo, every message, every voice note. Then I contacted a lawyer. I told him everything, quietly, carefully. I even showed him the footage of me finding the camera. He was silent for a long time before saying, "Miles, you're not paranoid. You're prepared. This is invasion of privacy. And depending on your state's laws, criminal." That night, I pretended to be asleep. At 2:14 a.m., I felt her get up from the bed. I cracked one eye open, barely. She walked to the dresser, bent down, moved something behind the socks. The second camera. She didn't know I'd already found the first one. She whispered into her phone, thinking I couldn't hear. "Yeah, he's still asleep. I'll come by tomorrow after work." Then she slipped back into bed like nothing happened. But I was awake, and so was my plan. The following morning, I left for work early, but I didn't actually go to the office. Instead, I parked around the corner and waited. At 8:45 a.m., a silver SUV pulled into our driveway. A man stepped out, mid-30s, confident, too confident. He walked straight to the door with a familiarity that turned my stomach. I recorded everything from my car. 15 minutes later, the same SUV left. I waited until the evening to say anything. We were eating dinner. She was scrolling on her phone, pretending to be bored, and I said casually, "So, how was your therapy today?" She looked up, caught off guard. "Good. Why?" "Just curious," I said. "Did your therapist drive a silver SUV?" She froze, didn't blink, didn't breathe. I let the silence stretch. Then I pulled out my phone, placed it on the table, and hit play. Footage of the man walking into our home. "Who is he?" I asked, my voice calm. Too calm. She stammered something about a colleague. I showed her the second camera. I showed her the messages. "You said I was paranoid," I whispered. "But this is surveillance. This is betrayal." She didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She just said, "You weren't supposed to find out." I didn't yell, didn't slam the table, didn't ask why, because I already knew. It wasn't about love. It was about power, control. She needed to twist the narrative, make me look like the unstable one, and she almost succeeded. Almost. I stood up, walked to the bedroom, and came back with a folder I'd been putting together for weeks. Bank statements, copies of the video files, printouts of texts from her second phone, screenshots of cloud backups she forgot to delete. I slid it across the table. "You can stay here tonight," I said, "but tomorrow we're having a very different conversation, with lawyers." She looked at the folder, her face pale now. "You can't do this." "You already did," I replied. Then I walked out of the house. I didn't even take a coat. I just needed the air. I stood in the driveway for a long time, looking at the street, trying to remember the version of my life I thought I had, and realizing that version never really existed. The divorce wasn't dramatic. No screaming matches, no courtroom battles, just cold signatures and silence. She took what she came with, left what wasn't hers. The camera? She claimed it was for safety. The lies? Stress. The betrayal? A misunderstanding. But none of it mattered anymore, because I was done writing chapters in a book she kept editing behind my back. 3 months later, I moved to a small apartment downtown. Different view, different routine, different peace. At night, sometimes, I'd sit by the window with a glass of scotch and think about how close I came to losing myself in someone else's story. But I didn't. I caught it, just in time. Now, I'm not angry, not bitter, just awake. And that, I've learned, is the first step to healing. Realizing you weren't paranoid. You were just paying attention,